Ellen Heye, you're a professor of public international law at the Erasmus School of Law in Rotterdam, and we're here today talking about global and connected risks. Now, can you tell us a bit about a few examples of what that kind of risk might be?
Sure. For example, in the area of the environment, climate change, conservation of biodiversity, in the financial area, financial markets and the collapse of those financial markets, which we experienced recently, poverty, just to give you a few examples, and how these are connected, because that's what we're really talking about today, is that if one of these systems fails, you get effects onto the other systems, cascading effects, as it were. For example, when the financial market collapsed, it wasn't only a problem for the financial market, but less money became available for environmental issues, but also poverty alleviation.
And in addressing these risks, would you say there is a role for international law?
I think there is a role for international law, but there is also a big challenge for international law, because international law tends to be very fragmented in the sense that it addresses specific problems in specific policy areas, and although increasingly links are made between those areas, I think we have a long way to go before we can really address these interconnected risks. And that's, of course, one of the reasons we're discussing this today.
And do you think international law and resilience thinking can be combined, and how?
Yes, I think they can, albeit that international law is one of the very slow factors to change things, because it's conservative. It's very difficult to change for political reasons, because you need the consent of large amounts of states. On the other hand, I do think that international law, especially when it connects the local and the global, is able to create change. And one of the examples of that is a gas station owner in the Netherlands whose license was being revoked. He went through the Dutch court system and then went to the European Court of Human Rights. And the result of that case ultimately in the Netherlands was that the whole administrative law system had to change.
And how does that connect to the idea of resilience?
Well, in the sense that there can be sort of small sparks in social or ecological systems that eventually introduce big change. And I think that's one of the elements that's also behind socio-ecological thinking and resilience thinking. Obviously, we need to study international law a lot more to figure out where other links might be identified or might be created.